Welcome to Shall We Say It? So often we share to the world about our accomplishments and the things that we're proud of. When you go through social media, you see people sharing new jobs, promotions, new relationships, pregnancies, weddings, engagements, and so many positive things that happen in our life, but rarely do we share our struggles and our downfalls. So the Shall We Say It team decided it's time for a change. It's time that we sit down and have an open discussion about the parts in our life and society that we're not so proud of. Our struggles, our downfalls, the things that limit us and hold us back. Let's talk about life. Let's talk about the real things that happen each and every day. I'm Valentina, and I'm here with Einstein.
You know who it is.
And we're going to just start by defining success, what success is to us, and just a little bit about it, just to start off. I guess I'm going to start with you since I introduced the topic.
So as Valentina said, it's your boy Einstein here. Success for me is it's such a weird thing because success for me isn't a monetary thing. I feel like a lot of success is viewed as monetary, but for me, success is being able to wake up in the morning and spend each morning like it's Saturday morning. Like, I love what I do. I'm happy with every facet of my life. My family is taken care of and they're happy. And just being able to live that life, like feeling accomplished, like feeling like the things that I am passionate about and want to pursue, like I'm actually going after those things. I'm chasing my dreams. I'm utilizing all of my gifts, all of my skills, everything that I've learned, and constantly learning. Like, to move beyond where you are, you have to learn something that you don't already know. And that success to me is continuous learning, constantly getting better and evolving and developing what I do and loving what I do.
And I'm not going to say that's not an amazing. I'm pretty similar to Einstein on success, but forever I used to imagine success was climbing the corporate ladder, being at the top and having not just monetary gains, but just feeling like I got to the top. I was there, and I thought that for the longest time, going through my college career and everything else. And I don't know when it hit me one day, but it was one day out of nowhere, it hit me that although I might have a decent corporate job and I do well financially, I'm not in a terrible situation, I wasn't successful and I didn't feel successful. I learned that my success goes off of every day being able to help people and that I'm living my true purpose, which, I mean, sometime we can talk about that in another moment in life, but I figured out what my true purpose was in life, and that's why I feel successful. I feel successful because I know what I want to do and how I want to do it. But speaking, we both gave our personal definition of success, and it's really weird because both of us have discussed this in the past on individual levels, but so many people define success by how much you make, your status, how much power you have over other people, and how much influence. And influence usually stems from money and power. And although these definitions are pretty much universal in society, whether we accept that it is or not, sometimes you have to step back and think that success is a personal story and it's a personal journey to all of us.
That's true. Like, what you define as success should be personal. Like, it shouldn't be some stock standard answer on, oh, I need to be the VP of my division and I need to make this type of money and drive this car and live in this place. It's like if all that you have, if your entire definition of success is based on the things that you do and how other people perceive you, then I'm sorry to say that you need to reevaluate what success means to you. Or, I mean, if you're happy with that and your entire life is about how other people see you and meeting some sort of standard that has been set for whatever reason and you don't want to chase your goals, I mean, hey, who am I to tell you not to go be VP of that corporation because somebody has to do it. And if it's not going to be me, hey, go ahead. I won't stand in your way. I'll help you get there.
And that's exactly what it is. It's a personal journey. And some people's personal journey, like you said, is to become vice president of that organization or to be the CEO one day. And I mean, personally, both me and Einstein over there, we both had that same corporate journey where we thought that being here, here, and here by the time we were 30 was our success. And that's what we wanted. And both of us have experienced that it was draining who we are as people. We weren't able to live our true, crazy creative selves that we are by going to the corporate ladder and fitting into the boxes that people were placing us in and having this well-defined structure. That just wasn't us, and that's okay too. It's okay to not be okay with not rising to the top and being a CEO by 30.
It's okay to be unique. I don't know if anyone's ever told you, but it is perfectly acceptable to be different. Because if everybody was the same, then it'd be kind of boring.
And not just that, if everyone was going to be CEO, then who's going to be the person underneath them? I mean, that's plain and simple. If everyone has the same goal in society and everyone's aiming towards the same thing and the same success goal, then there's so many people that will be disappointed in the end because you're never going to get it. You have like 100 people for that one position.
Somebody's got to clean the toilets. It might be a little unfortunate, but I mean, somebody's going to sit on them. Somebody's going to clean them.
And as long as you're happy and that's your success story, then it is. And some people's success story is just making it to buy their own home. And if that's what you define as successful, is owning your own home, whether you're making $10 an hour, then that's your success. And own it. Be happy with it.
I feel like a big thing that sort of shook my thought and definition and perception on success was I saw an image one time, and it was a tiered system of birds, and there was one big one at the top, there were two little ones in the middle, and four even smaller ones at the bottom, and the birds were pooping. I mean, you know, birds poop and get all over your car and make you mad. But it really struck because when you look up from the bottom, all you see is a bunch of a-holes. And when you look down from the top, all you see is poop. Like, we have to understand this. Sometimes when they're looking down from that CEO spot, like, why do you want to get there? You want to get there because they have some sort of power, like they're in control, like they look down upon people, like you want that influence, as Valentina pointed. That's what you're chasing. You're chasing that influence or that perception of influence, that perception of power that these people have when they look down at you. I mean, why do you, if you're sitting in a system where you feel like being at the bottom is awful and you have to claw and get to the top to be happy in it, why would you want to be at the top of that system? Because eventually you're going to be looking down at the people that were in the very spot that you're sitting now. So it's like if your goal is to get to that structure, just remember when you get up there, remember how it felt to be on the other side.
You just made like one of the best points ever. And I think we always forget where we came from and how we got there and realize that at one point we were in that position. I mean, at one point we were in a position where we both, which I still am, in corporate America, and we were both miserable and didn't have outlooks, and we thought we might have been successful. Actually, I should say other people thought we were successful. How many times have other people looked at both of us and said, "You're successful. You're like what our generation, your generation
like,
needs
I'm
to
trying
be."
to be like you. It's like, how'd you do that? And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to be like you because you don't understand what it's like to be over here.
Exactly. And that was something that was, I don't know, I think I would say dumbfounding and also awakening for me is there were so many people who pointed to me and it was like, you're successful, you have your life together, you have a job, you are making money, you get bonuses for being how efficient you are, you make programs up, people listen to you. And I do feel I have influence. I'm not going to say I don't feel like I have no influence. But at the same time, I'm not happy. I'm not happy that every day I don't get to be as creative as I want to be. I don't get to have direct influence in more than just simple ways within my company. I don't get to do what I know my potential is. And so many people say because of where I am, people look at me and say, oh, that's like a great place and we want to be there. But me, myself, I don't even want to be here myself. I want to be in a spot where I can use all of my abilities, not just some. And I feel like Einstein had the same issue in his department. He was successful. He worked for one of the biggest companies in the world. Um, he had a very, very, very nice, close to six-figure job right out of college. And everyone looked at him and said, you know, you're inspiration. Like, this is where not just for him a black man should be after graduating and getting their undergrad, but it's where many undergrads should be striving to be. And he was unhappy. Sorry, I'm telling your story.
Nah, I appreciate it. In his sense, I reached a point in my life where everything that I thought success meant, I had achieved. But I still wasn't happy. And I realized it's because I never completed what my own definition of success was. Like I was sitting in the spot where I was doing something that it was a great opportunity and I was good at it. I ain't trying to brag. I wasn't the greatest at my job, but I went in there and I put my work in and I did what I had to do. And people noticed, but at the end of the day, it was still something missing. And something else you gotta remember is business is business. It's like it really shook me. I hit a point where I was one of the top performers on my team. Like my manager would let it be known. And when we had a point where they were doing some restructuring with the company, some things were going on, direction was changing, and they try to use all these big fancy words, but they was firing people. And because of the fact that I didn't plan on staying in that role because I wanted to move beyond that, like I was chasing top of the ladder and they needed people who wanted to stay there. My name was still put on that list of people to be let go. Like it didn't matter how successful I was because fit their structure anymore, I was no longer useful. So think about that too on the whole thing of success. It's like when you base your success on what other people think and on chasing this thing, somebody at the top of that ladder is still in control of your success. And at any point in time, they can choose to end it.
Which is the greatest point. And similarly, I've had a very, 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 very similar story. I was sitting and talking, and this was multiple conversations with multiple people, but I'm going to summarize it into one. Um, we were talking about my job, and most people don't know what I do on a daily basis, and I'm not going to disclose what I do on a daily basis. One, because it violates the law, and two, because we don't need to get into the specifics, but
yeah, let's not do that, because if we start getting into specifics, then some things are going to be said that shouldn't be said.
You're right.
And then, yeah, we don't want to go to jail.
Right.
That's a goal in my life. I ain't never been. I don't plan on going. The closest I get is watching lockup cops in jail on TV, and that's good enough for me.
Exactly. And we were discussing what I do, and someone was like, "Oh, like I knew you worked for that big company, but no one ever told me directly what you do. Like that's really important, and you always downsize it and go, oh yeah, it's okay." And recently, which I don't know if I told you, but I recently received a bonus because of an efficiency program that I put in place that dropped some time off of my team's work and made us a lot more efficient. And I came up with the program myself on my own to make myself more efficient, and it just happened to make my team more efficient. I received a large bonus, and someone was like, "You should be so proud of that." And I was like, I should be proud for doing what I feel like I should be doing on a daily basis, making myself more efficient. I was like, I'm not, like, it's not something to pat myself on the back for. It's more like, this is just what you should be doing on a daily basis. Like, I don't get it. It's not successful because they decided to give me a couple $1,000s for coming up with a program that made myself more efficient. Like, I don't understand how people think it's successful because I'm doing this really important task and I don't talk about it all the time. And they're like, oh, you're just being humble. You're just being, no, it's not my passion. So I don't talk about it. That's not my success.
I'm doing my job.
Exactly. I'm doing my job. Which is the weirdest thing. Now I know this is switching topics, but it's not really switching topics. But we're talking a lot about success right now and what our definition of success in society, how they see success. But just what is also important with success is what limits us from getting to what we consider successful, how we see ourselves as successful. And that is also just as important as success itself, is knowing what limits us. Because, of course, Einstein went first on his success story. I will go first on my limits. It's only fair to switch it up. So, me, I constantly say my limits, one is society itself. Being who I am as a person is not always acceptable in society. Being crazy and out there and being always in left field, as I say, it causes limits on my abilities and what I do in the workforce. It constantly bogs me down because I have so many thoughts and so many things I want to do at one time all the time, and it's not feasible. And I know it's not feasible. And I always say that's a limit to me because I'm not able to be my true self, and it limits me. Along with that, I would also say one of the other limits is myself as a person. I constantly make excuses up for things that I should be doing and I don't do. And that's an own personal thing, and everyone can get over that. But I constantly say I'm going to do something and keep going, and I just don't. And I place this barrier on myself that I can't do something, and I'm not good enough, or I'm not pretty enough to date that person. And I put that limit on myself because I let myself think that.
Right. Yeah. out there dropping bombs on people.
Not really. It's just my limits.
Throw them bows. I feel like a big limit for me, and it's something that I've been working on, is a creative outlet or lack thereof. Like I'm a person much like Valentina. It's like I have lots of big ideas, lots of things that I'm thinking about doing that I would like to do. It's like where she's way left field, I'm way right field. And it's like sometimes it's strange for people because there's a word that I like to say. It's a 4-letter word. We all know it. It's also an action. I think you catch the drift. It's one of my favorite things to say. But it's because there's so many things that I see. There's so much contradiction that we see on a daily. And it's like, it's weird because since I'm so right fielded, it's like not being able to address these things or try to correct these things, like it constantly bogs me down because I see things that I want to work on or things that I want to change, and since I'm constantly running on them, it's like, but it's hard to get out there and do it because that's strange for people to want to fix something that they see is wrong for some reason. And I feel like that stops me a lot because sometimes you get beat down when it's like, well, why would you want to do that? And, well, what about this? And